Everybody, welcome to Late Breakfast. I'm Torian B.
I'm second semester Reg.
Reg isn't here this week, everybody.
I'm right here.
This is Robbie Digital.
I'm Reg.
Danny Aviles.
Yo.
Felix.
What up?
Johnny Swoosh Rodriguez.
What's up, y'all? Yo.
Sarita Noel. So, let's talk about the Joker movie, everybody. Have you guys all seen it?
Yes.
Now, the movie has garnered a lot of attention and has gotten crazy reviews, right?
It's got mixed reviews.
No.
It got
very rave, but there's also like...
It's been a critical, amazing review.
A lot of the negative reviews are from people that thought Batman was going to come and hang him up.
Valid.
Yeah, the negative reviews that I heard, like I didn't hear that from people that actually like really like.
Before the movie came out, there was a positive review of the movie.
It was
True.
Let's just set that.
Okay, yeah.
But those are from film critics,
Yeah.
people that know film.
Yeah, of course.
The negative reviews are
I'm
coming
just setting
from
this.
the negative reviews are coming from people that
out.
are waiting for Batman to swoop in and
That's
yank
not true.
Joker.
Well, let's set the stage. Before the movie came out, the overall critic review was the most amazing performance by Joaquin Phoenix, and it was such a great movie.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I didn't.
Before
when
we
I
saw
heard,
the movie,
it's not as cool as his brother's name.
That was the standard.
I agree. Like
Yo,
I didn't hear that it was one of the greatest comic book films,
No.
and Todd Phillips made it very clear. He said this is not a comic book film. He is creating his own origin story of the Joker. And apparently, when they when they pitched it to the studio, they told him like, "All right, this will not be in the DECU universe that has the Suicide Squad and all that."
Mm-hmm.
So when I went to go see the movie, I didn't have expectations that all of that was going to happen. And then when I was told that it was Scorsese inspired and it had a lot of the iconic characters that Robert De Niro played in the Taxi Driver, and the other one was the King of Comedy. So I understood what those two films did, and I was like, Scorsese. So I was like, all right, cool. It's going to be New York City. It's going to be dark. It's going to be brooding. So I get where like the whole Gotham thing comes in.
Can we go around the table and do personal reviews?
Absolutely.
Cool. I think it was great. Obviously, I knew beforehand that it wasn't going to be a comic book movie, and it wasn't connecting to any of the DC films. So I went in with a clear mind, and I think it was great. I think Joaquin did a great job of giving us his version of the Joker, and darker than I thought it would be. You really get to see why the movie is rated R, and a lot of scenes caught me off guard, which you could appreciate because some comic book movies, even though this is not one, but a lot of movies you could certain scenes you could kind of feel like something is coming, but with this Joker movie, it was just. Now, that's one of my favorite parts.
Eli, move back a little bit because they're getting in the other frame. Sarah, what you thought about the film? What was your take from it?
I think that with like traditional comic book movies, everything's obviously in the realm of fantasy. And I think that what this movie accomplished was showing us how a villain like the Joker could come from a normal, everyday person like anyone. Like, it showed us a real world version of that, as opposed to, big explosions and schemes and booby traps and plotting. And also, like, it was just real. Like, anyone on the train could be the Joker, basically. Like, it makes you look at everyday people a little different because we all go through fucked up shit, so...
To add to what she's saying, one of Joker's quotes, and I'm sure I'm not going to get it right, but it's, one bad day could turn the sanest man towards lunacy. And that's exactly like what you're saying, how any one of us could just have a bad day. It's probably going to be Felix. And just turn to the dark side.
All right. Felix.
Well, to me, the movie critics were sucking mad dick from the beginning. Like, OD. Like, to me, they made it seem like this is one of the most brilliant performances that I've ever seen in one of the greatest movies that I've ever seen. And
are these facts, or are you just throwing stuff out?
No, that's the impression that I got, personally, from the critics and everything that I read.
Eber and Rober.
Rest in peace. They're both not alive anymore, all right? Let's not...
The Twitter moment, the Twitter moment, your moments, and then you hit Joker movie, and then everything you read underneath it, they clapped for 8 minutes for this movie. I can't clap for 8 minutes for anything. 8 minutes? This video is gonna be like 15. Imagine clapping through half of it. That's the expectation that I got.
He's such an asshole.
So that expectation was really high. So when I saw the movie, the first half lagged a little bit, and honestly, it's a good movie. I like the movie. But when you set such a high standard, to me, you're asking for me to be overcritical. And I'm gonna be overcritical in this whole video.
Felix, you're overcritical about everything.
Rob, I want to know your thoughts on the film.
I enjoyed the movie immensely. To me, it felt like a play. What I love about a lot of the DC characters and heroes and villains alike, they're more or less ideologies than actual people. I think when I look at Batman's always been an ideology for me, that anyone can be Batman. And with Joker, anyone can be...
No, you have to be, unless you're a billionaire. Any billionaire can be Batman.
Let him finish. You gotta let him finish. Let him
I'm
finish.
second semester
We
Reg.
can destroy him after.
And with Joker, I felt the same way. Like, as I watched it, it was the naturation from someone who is trying to withhold his true personality and his true feelings about society to that one moment where everything just changes for him, and he creates, and this paradigm shift happens from him needing his medication to completely freeing himself of his inhibitions without his medication. So for me, that was a major moment in the film that told that moment of where there's this control that you have that society puts on you, and it's only but so much you can take till you get to that breaking point. And I think once you saw him shoot the first person in the train, that's when it clicked for him.
Okay,
like,
Murray.
I don't need any of this. I don't need any of this. I can be who I am 100%, and whether you like it or not, this is what I'm going to be.
You want to shoot people?
Never mind. You have to go in as a person who's a comic book fan, and then also just a person who loves movies. The comic book person in me didn't want to see this because of the history of the DC universe. Wasn't anything I expected at all. I kind of feel it's definitely not a comic book movie. If you're going here to see an antagonist versus protagonist story, you're not going to get it. It's a man fighting with himself. Spoiler alert, sorry if you're watching this far and we haven't mentioned anything that spoiled it. It's too late. I think it was wildly predictable, but in a good way. I think it's still great performance from Joaquin Phoenix. Great progression. There's just certain things that's just too obvious that it's like, oh, he's Thomas. They're going to play that he's Bruce Wayne's brother, but he's not. All right. Either way, we knew that Bruce Wayne, his brother thing was going to come from a mile away. Like, that was obvious. Oh, he has the same mental, situation that his mother has. Ugh. As soon as they said his mother imagined she was with Thomas Wayne, it's like, guess what? He imagined he's with Zazie Beetz. Which part of me was like, all right, Zazie Beetz doesn't fucking shave her armpits.
All right,
we're
talking about the real.
And she fucking leaves her kid alone random times at night to go spend with a stranger that she just let into her house. All right, we're gonna let that go. In the imagination, yeah. But then the fucking, it was just, it's a great performance by Joaquin Phoenix. It's a great movie. And then when you understand deeper where the influences come from, it makes a lot of sense. The character development is very great in this for Joaquin Phoenix. It's great how it's the first time we see a Joker have the fucking lead role the whole time. My thing is, only problem with this movie is it didn't need anything to do with Batman. It had nothing to do with, there's no reason to call him Joker. There's no, you could have the same exact movie if you don't say the words Joker, Gotham City, or the last name Wayne. And you have the same exact fucking movie.
I think it would have been better without it, actually.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think this movie would hit a lot more audiences if it didn't have the connection to Batman.
I don't agree.
What Scorsese expressed about his feelings of the MCU and everything, and about comic
That
book
does happen.
movies.
It's-
Yes, but I think that's a common feeling of people who are moviegoers who aren't necessarily into the DC.
All right.
All right,
So
so,
how does it change the movie?
what do you think? What do you think?
I don't agree with Danny, and I'm gonna say this is why. Typically, movies that are like huge, like Oscar like films, don't do well at the box office. Comic book films do
That's true.
really well at the box office. So what they try to do is actually prove the point of what Scorsese was saying. They were trying to dispel what Scorsese was saying, where you could actually find art in comic books and like put that into cinema and sell that.
Like that.
Like that's what they were. That was the point of it. So that's why like he took that inspiration of what Scorsese did
Mm-hmm.
and actually made that happen. So the frenzy that comic book fans go out and Joker being the most popular villain in comic book history that I would
Valid.
argue, right?
Valid.
So you got to think about it. People just see the name Joker and just going to go out and see that movie. Period. Right? Now, if you made a movie and let's say they named it Arthur Flick and it just got all these rave reviews and everything like that, it would not be the highest grossing film to come out in October. The film before that was a comic book film. Last year with Venom. People went to go see Venom just because Venom is a popular character and the movie sucked.
You know, you're
Big
100%
suck.
right. You're 100% right. I forget the times we're in and the fact that
Mm-hmm.
automatically that comic book tie-in gives that much more now because of
Yes.
everything that's
So
happened.
less people probably
You're
actually would have
100%
saw
right.
if it wasn't the
You're
Joker. So what I'm just
100%
saying,
right.
like what they were doing, they
I'm gonna
knew
step
what they
back
were
on my
doing.
previous statement. That
To-
you're
to
100%
me-
right on that.
To me, Todd Phillips made this movie. He made The Hangover.
Mm-hmm.
He made Due Date. He made Old School.
Mhm.
Not really a serious movie director.
Not a crazy dialogue.
The reviews that came before the movie set the expectation so high. They set
Yes.
it so high.
That's not
And-
Joaquin or Todd's fault.
Is it Heath?
I'm not saying it's their fault.
No, I don't think
I'm not
it's-
saying it's their fault, but it's a factor to my perception of walking into the movie and what I'm expecting, right? So I didn't ask to see those reviews. I saw the reviews. I came into the movie. Now I'm expecting brilliance. I'm expecting real life brilliance, and I like the movie. I truly enjoy the movie. But to me, my problem is Joaquin Phoenix the best Joker that I've seen?
No.
I don't think it's fair
No.
to ask that question because this is an origin film in which he was only the Joker for maybe the last 15 minutes of the film. He's Arthur Fleck for the
I'm
whole
not
movie.
asking it though. I'm answering.
But here's okay. So here's
Why are we
my here's
comparing them?
here's my answer to that.
I'm
Because we're
not.
humans.
And that's where my comic book mind has to come in and weigh in on that.
Mhm.
It's because once it's called the Joker, you have to compare him to the Jokers.
Why? There are three different Jokers.
Here, hold on.
It's more than three.
You're getting
No, I mean
you're getting
personalities.
no. There's
Definitely.
3 Jokers in
But
the
who's
comic.
better?
Book. He's getting
Johnny,
comic
who's
booky.
better?
And
Who's better?
the whole
Personally,
thing.
I like Heath.
Like he
Personally,
he's the
while
best
I
Joker.
think Heath
Well,
would
because
have.
he's at full strength.
Heath-
Yes.
Well,
He's
no,
already
no,
the
no,
Joker.
no, no,
Right,
no,
so
no,
let's
no.
all agree on
And
that.
here's the conversation.
Oh,
He's an
shut up.
actual nemesis for Batman when he's Heath. This Joker, Batman would have taken care of him in a second.
We don't know
Because
that.
it's the first stages of him being the
But,
Joker. He
yeah.
doesn't even know who he is yet. He has no minions yet. He literally just found himself.
But in the Heath version, he's the first stages of
Yeah, but
Jokers
which
too.
is why it shouldn't be
Yeah, but
compared.
Heath was.
But no, it's just two
No, he's
different.
not.
It's yes,
was
he
getting
is.
ass whooped by Batman.
And what? No. But the way he showed up, the way he's more calculated, Batman had a problem. This particular Batman, do you think Batman's gonna have a problem?
And
The
also,
greatest detective in the world.
Why are we
Not-
discussing
not-
this in the movie anyway? Batman's a kid. Like time frame wise, it doesn't even make sense to have that
But
conversation.
if you're gonna take the role,
Yeah,
of
you're
the
gonna take the
Joker,
role of Joker. It's
you
let's
should-
like
you should
compare
expect
Jokers.
comparisons to
I don't ever see this Joker
Don't
being
debate semantics
rather.
now.
Hold on.
She's saying that
This
Batman-
particular Joker, I don't ever see being the Joker that is the Joker Batman is really fearing. Yes, he's a mentally insane person who has a handle and he has great influence, but he's not that anti-Batman that Joker
He
is
doesn't even know
in
who
other
Batman is
iter-
yet.
We don't even know that though.
Yeah.
Batman isn't even Batman yet in this movie.
Okay.
To me, when we discuss Joker, the different versions of Joker, is not gang affiliation or fighting ability. It's more mental.
Exactly.
Jack Nicholson was your typical cartoonish, funny Joker. Heath was more. He was funny, but he was more of a serious Joker.
He was calculated.
Right. With Arthur Fleck's Joker, we have more of a deranged.
We have a loose cannon.
Like, I mean, all the Jokers were fucked up in the head.
Yeah.
Like, even
Mhm.
from Jack Nicholson's version, the opening
Mark Hamill is the best. Has the best Joker.
Yeah, but he was cartoon. We talk about cinematic.
I'm just saying.
But all three of them had
Mark
mental
Hamill.
issues. Yeah. That's something they all have in common. So I feel like when we discuss the Joker and which one's the best one, it should be on the mental aspect.
Okay.
And we don't know what Heath did in the first 6 months that he became Joker. Jack Nicholson, well, he was Jack Napier.
Yeah, Jack Nicholson was giving people STDs, like airborne STDs and shit.
But you know what
That's
I like
crazy.
but what I liked about this movie,
Jack Nicholson was a great Joker too, though.
So the comparison of the two, I think with Heath Ledger's Joker, the monologues and his view on society was very interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that's what we loved about that Joker, because he looked at Batman as you're this thing or this entity that people look at as a savior, and I think you're a joke. And I think that was interesting to me. Now with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, what I loved about that was the psyche of the normal person who has these cerebral thoughts and never actually carries them out. Now, I thought that was one of the most iconic moments in the movie, because you see he gets hit by the car, he's laying on top of the car, and then as all this chaos is happening, Thomas Wayne and his wife Martha gets killed.
Yeah,
and
the infamous beads are pulled.
So
they're killed, leaving after watching Zorro.
I'm getting to that. So that in that moment, that is when Bruce Wayne's whole world changes. And what I loved about the cinematography in this movie is at the same exact moment of you seeing Bruce Wayne's life change, you see the awakening of Joker realizing what he's created.
Okay.
That shit was incredible to me.
To me, that's not the most incredible part of that movie. To me, the most incredible part is that Joker could have been making up the entire movie. Yeah. To me, is that we're in Joker's mind of what, like, he's just thinking on a regular day. Like, imagine if I was this nigga who had a mom and my backstory was that I thought
that adds layers to the comic for me.
To me, I thought I was Bruce Wayne's brother. Like, that shit would make sense to me. I'm the Joker. I'm deranged. And in the end, you realize that. That's the best part of the movie to me. The plot line before that isn't that great to me. It's good. I like it. But to me, the entire plot before I realized that Joker is the Joker and he's in Arkham Asylum is a regular movie. It's just a regular psychopath in a movie. That's all I think it is.
So do you think this? When do you think he started when do you think the real? Like, you think the whole movie was an imagination?
Yes, I agree. I think so.
I think it was a certain point. I think when he got in the refrigerator, everything started changing.
No, because he was already dealing with Zazie Beetz at that point.
Wait. Joker is so anonymous. Joker is such
I get what you're saying.
Joker is so anonymous. He's such a weird, just chaos of life that, to me, to admit that any part before that part that was real is to admit that Joker is Arthur Fleck. I don't think Joker's Arthur Fleck. Nope. I think Joker watched maybe a late night show right before he saw that therapist, and then he just got into his head, and in the end he was just like, you wouldn't get it. Like, I'm in my head and I'm going through this crazy scenario of why I should do the things that I should do, why I should be a psychopath. You wouldn't get it. To me, that's what the whole movie was.
He was like.
For the sake of the Joker legacies, I hope that, maybe he did imagine some things, but I hope for the legacy of the Joker that everything that went on when he became the Joker is true. Now, I've heard and read from Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix. They both said the movie was made intentionally to be up for interpretation. Yeah. So it's whatever you want. Todd Phillips actually said at one point before he dies, he'll reveal maybe he did imagine all this in his head. If it would have been like Two-Face.
Shutter Island fucks me
or
up
like
still.
The Riddler or like any of
the Island?
Shutter Island.
But for Joker's legacy, I hope that this is what really happened.
I just want everyone in the table to admit that Heath Ledger was a better Joker than Joaquin.
I mean, there are three different Jokers.
I mean, you could just admit it, though.
I don't think.
I can't admit that though, because for me, Jack Nicholson is the best Joker. As far as
I agree.
cinema.
I agree. Jack Nicholson's the best Joker.
Cinema what?
like
Hipster,
this from
you're
his
hipster.
pants.
How am I a
and
hipster?
shot down.
How?
I'm just old.
Do you understand, like, comic book wise and everything we grew up on? Like, as
No.
hold on. Let me finish. I didn't finish my
Talking about
statement.
the body you after.
Is
I
the
don't think
Joker.
Jack Nicholson has stopped playing the Joker.
I don't think so either.
I look at him at Lakers games sometimes.
Oh
I'm like, yo,
my
he's gonna go
God,
kill
bro!
people.
He has other roles where he's still the Joker.
Yeah.
You know what's funny when Christopher Nolan offered the role to Heath, it was only on the one condition: if it's not cartoonish. He wanted to portray a real life.
Because the whole trilogy was real. The whole trilogy was like,
Agreed.
how can this Batman be real?
Agreed.
Right,
Agreed.
right,
It's
right.
that's why that
Yes.
and that's why Heath is amazing.
And at first, that's why Heath wasn't going to take it. But then he reconsidered and told Chris, "I'll do it if we get rid of the gimmicky cartoon version of the Joker." And so happened to be that Christopher Nolan was like, "Hey, that's what I want too. Perfect."
What's funny about that is that like people actually like were not happy that Heath Ledger got like picked because they thought like, oh, here's this pretty boy.
I was one of them too.
Like,
I was one of them. I
heart
was
So
one of them.
throb.
was Adam. Can I address Jack
Anything
Nicholson?
going on?
Can I address Jack Nicholson?
Yo, we will fight
Jack
after this,
Nicholson was
Felix.
great. Jack Nicholson was great, but
Okay.
a lot of you young people like to big up old people because they did it first.
No, he wasn't
To
the
me-
first Joker.
To me,
No, that's just
Romero
my
was the
Joker
first one.
growing up.
to me, not the first one, but just because there's a nostalgic factor, you think Jack Nicholson was a better Joker than Heath Ledger for some reason.
I'm watching that shit tonight. Actually,
To me, Christopher Nolan is a better director than Tim Burton. To me, the movies were better. The movies were
I don't
better.
really like Tim Burton either.
It's in that fucking cup, man.
I don't like Tim
To
Burton
me,
either.
to me,
Oh,
the
I forgot you
movies.
was Tim Burton
To me, the
fan.
I don't
movies
like
were better.
Tim Burton.
The angle that
I'm gonna
Christopher
crack myself
Nolan
up.
took the movies were better.
I
think
agree.
Everything about the Joker from beginning to end in The Dark Knight is better than Jack Nicholson. That is not saying that Jack Nicholson was bad. But what I'm saying is that Heath Ledger had the privilege to watch Jack Nicholson and build up off of that.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. All right.
No,
But
Heath
isn't
Ledger
that
to me
Joaquin
is the
Phoenix
best
as well?
Joker.
I think Joaquin Phoenix did the same thing.
I don't think
Can I-
Joaquin
can I-
Phoenix
can I
even
bring up-
looked at
can
the
I bring
Joker
up a
when
hot
he's
take?
thinking
Let's
of
hear
his
it.
role.
And I hope this is not taken the wrong way. However, do we think
a black man could play a good Joker.
nah?
Oh.
Oh, we're
Damn
having
it, Idris Elba, I was rooting
Do
for
you
you.
think-
we're
do you
starting the
think-
Johnny's racist conversation.
No,
early?
no. Do you think Heath Ledger's Joker catapulted because of his death?
Yes.
I do.
Or do you
Yes.
think if he
Yeah.
was still alive, it'll still be the best Joker we've seen so far?
Yes, I think both of them.
Yes,
I think
but
both
does
of
it?
them.
But
Yeah,
but
I
had
think
he
both.
not died, would he not have gotten praised? Maybe not as much.
They even sensationalized like him being in a role. Like they were like he was so into the role, and people said that like they hyped up him playing the role. They said that like he wasn't. They said he had problems like sleeping and shit, but like he didn't go insane playing the role. They said like he would leave set and go and play with his daughter and be himself. They made it seem like he couldn't get out of the role. They said it was months after that finished and he was fine. He was working on another film. They just said that he had
my
that
God.
they
Not
just
to
said that
say
he
that-
had
They
problems
go through
sleeping.
depression every day and they go through normal life things.
Not to say that he
No,
wasn't-
but
that he
I'm just
wasn't
saying that
really
like they made it seem like he like
Died
the
because
role
of the
kid
role?
like yeah they make it seem like he like died because of the role, like the role took over him. Maybe he did suffer from depression, but what I'm just saying is they made it seem like that role is the reason what pushed him over the edge, and a lot of people were saying that that's not true.
Mary Kate also.
I
pushed
think it
him
might
over the
have.
edge.
You know what's so dope about the three
I'm just
Jokers
saying,
though? From what I've
Viewers Uptown, he be Juan.
obviously, I'm a big Joker fan, Stan, whatever you want to call it. The one thing that all three of them have in common is they didn't know how they were going to approach the role until they put the
The makeup
mask
on, the makeup on.
and costume on.
Yeah.
All three of them have said that. You know, I didn't know how I was going to approach it. Then I got the makeup done and put the outfit on, and it clicked.
Fuck you, Jared Leto.
A black person. With
Fuck you. All right. So on that note, I am Torian B. Signing off for late breakfast. I will catch you guys next time. Thank you very much. Thank my guests for coming. We'll see
Heath
y'all next
Ledger
time.
Squad, Heath Ledger, we see you.
All right.
In spirit.